today we are talking all about body butters and how they can be really beneficial for your skin, not just in terms of hydration, but also in some really lovely therapeutic benefits. And I'm joined by Summer from soapNskin, who's going to talk us through their 4 different body butters in their range. Hi, Summer.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. Tad bit nervous, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
We'll be
Um,
grand. We'll be grand. So first question really is more about your brand than your body butters because you formulate with 100% natural ingredients, and I just really wanted to delve a little bit deeper into why you think natural ingredients are so beneficial for the skin.
um, that's a really good question, and I think now, asking that question in the current kind of indie beauty sphere, it's pretty obvious. But when we started out about 5, 6 years ago, there was very little, or certainly not as much as is available now. So there was just this kind of there was a need, certainly because of personal skin conditions, to find natural products which we couldn't find. And then because of our heritage and culture, there was just this natural inclination to always go with natural products as well, natural ingredients. And we'd kind of seen our grandmas and our mums just kind of reach for store cupboard ingredients and just turn them into kind of masks or, kind of remedies that you just layer on different kind of parts of the skin for different needs. So that kind of really influenced, I think, the decision to kind of bring out a completely natural brand.
Why did you decide to create 4 different body butter blends in your range?
So we had gone all along with the more kind of popular, if you like, essential oil blends within our ranges. And when last year we sort of focused the brand more on the sort of heritage aspect, we felt that these particular 3 essential oil blends were not only, I think, among the most popular that we did, but they also covered a wide spectrum of benefits and needs which different people's skins sort of possess. And our products aren't so much targeted skincare; they're sort of generally sort of beneficial for lots of different kind of ailments, if you not even ailments, but different kind of skin needs. And these kind of 3 main blends, which we decided to bring out, were the ones that we thought would cover a nice spectrum for our clients.
Great.
And then we've got the last one, which is the honey and oat, which actually doesn't contain any essential oil blends, and is absolutely brilliant for specifically sensitive skin types and skin types prone to burning or eczema or psoriasis. Yeah.
Why do you formulate body butter rather than maybe like a body lotion? What extra benefits do you think a body butter has for the skin?
So when I started formulating the body butter, I kind of toyed around with lots of different ingredients, but I knew from my own personal experiences that lotion, it was full of not very good stuff, the ones that obviously were available when I was using them. And then B, the composition was much lighter, and my skin needed something a lot more lush, a lot more hydrating, a lot more moisturizing, and I just couldn't find it. Even the body butters, I mean, at the time, I remember the sort of big high street name for body care products was the Body Shop, and I think my goodness, it was a revolutionary kind of a concept, that they brought to us. But even their body butters, having tried them, and I did actually go for a couple of different types that they had, but even that didn't do it. And even those were more of a lotion sort of a consistency. So I thought, okay, how can I kind of change this? Explored lots of different things, looked at sort of, a little bit further afield at how people from different countries, different cultures use different ingredients. And of course, one of the main ones that cropped up was the cocoa butter. And it's been used for generations in parts of the African continent, and actually even in our own sort of continent, Asia and places like that. And it just, when I tried it, my skin just drank it up. it was amazing. It didn't leave. Initially, I thought, oh, this is really greasy, really kind of, because once you sort of rub it in, it can feel quite greasy, but after application, my skin just drank it up, and I thought, my God, this is only going to be good, right? So we kind of experimented with other butters as well. So we then began to include our mango, our shea, and our cocoa butter. And of course, those were the three main butters which we found had so many beneficial properties for skin. And it's like, oh my God, what are we doing using lotions? We should totally be using this. And the best thing about it that I liked was when you melt these butters down and whip them up, the consistency changes completely. But then when you reapply them on the skin, the heat from your body changes them back to an oil. So it's like, wow, magic.
Yeah, you do notice that with your butters that immediately you put it onto the skin, it's like the perfect balance because
Yeah.
you don't have to work it really hard into the skin. It goes into an oil, but then it's not greasy. Like it sinks in and it's really silky. So I think you
It's
nailed
quite
the
funny because
formulation.
sorry,
Sorry, you say.
we've been at events where people have got really excited and kind of dipped a whole finger in, and they've got a whole kind of mound of body butter on the top of their finger. And then of course when you rub it in, it's like, oh, this is really greasy. But of course, if your skin doesn't need it, you only need a small application, so you only need that small amount. Whereas the beauty of it is knowing that if your skin is going through a dry patch, or if it's a dry season, you just use more of that product.
Love it. Thank you. Um, so let's talk about the base because is the base the same across all four of the body butters?
Yes, and we spent several years actually sort of experimenting with different ingredients, just toying with different combinations. And the one we've got at the moment seems to be the winner. It comprises of cocoa butter, shea butter, mango butter, beeswax, almond oil, and rosehip oil. And so these are our six main sort of base ingredients. This is what comprises the body butters, all sort of four varieties of. And the reason we went for these butters is because they are so rich in lots of different skin healing, skin soothing, hydrating properties, and they just create such a wonderfully sort of whipped up body butter that's so easy to apply as well.
Let's talk about each different blend. Let's go through them one by one. Where shall we start?
So we can start with, let's start with our heritage range, which is our rose and sandalwood and our neroli and patchouli. So these two blends, I think the neroli and patchouli is by far one of our best sellers. I think people absolutely adore this scent. And we actually fell in love with it as soon as we kind of came across it. So all our essential oil blends are actually made for us, especially by our brilliant sort of essential oil manufacturers based up north. They are approved by IFRA, which is the International Fragrance Regulation Authority, which oversees the safe composition and mixing of essential oils. And it's also approved by the European Halal Commission, which means it's completely safe for use by sort of the Muslim community and people who don't like, in particular, alcohol distillation within the essential oils. So I just thought I'd add that as a side note. But our blends have been designed to work in synergy with our bases. I think the main things that come out with our bases are the level of hydration, nourishment, and then also increased elasticity of the skin. Because when you apply these butters to your skin, you are moisturizing, you are hydrating, and so therefore you are making your skin more supple, because all of the nutrient dense content is sort of sinking right into the skin. All our butters are non-comedogenic, which means they don't block pores, which a lot of lotions I found do. Yeah. And a lot of, as you all know, a lot of ingredients in these lotions do as well. But our butters are non-comedogenic, so the skin just drinks them right up, which is why you'll find initially they're really greasy, but after a few minutes, they'll sink right in.
I put a huge big dollop on it. It was like a kind of cream
Yeah.
consistency there. Already it's melting in, and you can see it actually melting on my hand. I put an
Brilliant.
excessive amount on just to demonstrate that how quickly it kind of goes in to the skin.
Yeah, and the great thing is because they are multitasking products, you find you've got too much on your hand. Just layer it on your arms, on your neck, everywhere that you possibly can. So yeah, so the first blend we've got is, let's talk about the neroli and the patchouli. That's our Restore and Rejuvenate blend. Um, the neroli essential oil contains antioxidant properties, and combined with the patchouli essential oil, it actually helps cell rejuvenation. So it helps renew old cells, slows away dead cells, and leaves your complexion really lovely and radiant. And then we've combined that with jojoba oil, which of course is balancing. So it sort of balances the sebum production in the skin to make sure that your skin isn't overly oily or overly dry, and that the jojoba oil itself is very nourishing as well. All of the patchouli is also anti-inflammatory. So any kind of irritations or anything like that, it's absolutely brilliant for. And it just, yeah, I also find the sensory properties of our blends are absolutely wonderful. And we've had customers who've used the blends who've said we not only put them on the skin, but when we initially apply, we rub into the palms, and then we just kind of take a minute to breathe in the essential oils. And of course, that has a massive impact on just overall well-being, relaxation. So might be definitely worth doing that when we try the blend. So the neroli and patchouli is great to restore and rejuvenate. So
would you say there's a particular skin type then? Maybe a more mature skin if it's got that kind of cell turnover and that kind of soothing and balancing, or
yeah,
is it
yeah,
suitable for everyone?
and most of our products are great for across the range, but neroli in particular, I think, is known to be great for maturer skins. So definitely, yeah, give it a go if you have more mature skin.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, the next one is the rose and sandalwood.
My favourite.
This is a bit like Marmite, we find.
Really?
People either love it or hate it. but we're on to a winner, aren't we, Karen? So, but roses, I mean, rose. So this comes from our own sort of more Asian heritage from the subcontinent. And rose and sandalwood are both ingredients that are used in abundance. My goodness, not just I think in skincare, but in cooking. Sandalwood is something we burn in the house to kind of purify the air. It's got antibacterial, astringent. It's a wonderful kind of pick me up as well. And in particular, benefits for the skin is it's antiseptic and it helps to calm irritated skin. I forgot to tell you that this one is repair and revive. So it just kind of really kind of helps skins that are in sort of dire need, in particular sun damaged skin as well. So the rose essential oil was really good in also calming, soothing, and then the essential oil, again, the sensory properties of the oil are that it really kind of reduces the stress. And of course, reducing stress inside will inevitably have an effect on your skin on the outside. So the sort of wonder oil that I think is worth mentioning that we use here is the neem oil. And neem oil has been used for generations, oh my goodness. My other half tells me how they actually used to pick the fruits off the neem trees back in Pakistan back in the day, and they used to eat the fruit. And the fruit was so wonderful and sweet, but there's a bitter part of the fruit which is so bitter, but it's so good for you because it actually purifies the blood. And that's what I grew up eating. And these, like my parents, and a lot of sort of people from that generation who've grown up on these things don't have anything wrong with their skins. And you kind of think, right, get me a neem tree. We all need a neem tree. So neem is an absolute wonder, sort of miracle ingredient. And that's why we deliberately included this in the sort of rose and sandalwood body butter. And also to smell, it's very pungent, but it really goes really nicely with the two other rose and sandalwood fragrance. So it's kind of worked really well.
Do you think then it's the neem that makes it a love or a hate when people smell it? Or do you
We,
think the rose?
we've tried to make sure that we've not overdone it with the neem. And you can't smell it. So I think that's a good thing. So perhaps it's one for an Insta poll.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess with this one, with it being repair and revive, if you're maybe not super sensitive to essential oils, but you're maybe more of a dry skin, if you get flakiness, um, like you said, sun damage, so if you've got maybe prickly heat or sunburn, it would maybe be
Um,
great for that. But any other skin?
I would also recommend it for people who are prone to breakouts, because it's got a lot of antiseptic qualities, through the sandalwood and the neem. So if you're prone to breakouts, I think this is a great one for you. And the rose essential oil in particular is great for redness on the skin. So just kind of, because not necessarily because of sun exposure, but just sometimes environmental exposure
Yeah,
can leave some skin quite red. So it's a great one for that as well.
wonderful. Thank you.
So that's our two heritage body butters kind of covered. Our third one is our lavender and lime, and this is my personal favorite. I absolutely love this. And when we formulated this, we knew we had to include lavender, because it's so representative of the British Isles, and this is obviously part of the Isles range. But lavender on itself, I think, is a scent that's been so done, and it's been overdone in many ways. And we just thought, what can we add to it to just kind of give it that edge? And we found that lime essential oil works really, really well with it.
Such a unique
So
combination. I would never think to put that together, but you're right, it just works really, really beautifully.
it's wonderful. It just gives it that kind of edge, I think, and just kind of lifts it, to a different level. And I, I'm not a big fan of lavender personally,
Really.
but with the addition of the lime, this is definitely my hands down favorite.
Yeah.
And it's one of those scents that I love. Sorry, I love to layer up, and then it lasts throughout the day. So it's really, really good. So this one is hydrate and protect. And that's again basically down to the combination of the calendula oil in particular, which we've kind of done just because it just strokes your skin. It's just like on your skin, calendula oil. It's just wonderful. And then lavender is anti-inflammatory, and again, the sensory properties are that it really relaxes and de-stresses. And then lime is actually an astringent, so it tightens, not just pores, but and it has this overall kind of toning effect on the body, and it tones and tightens skin. And of course, leaves you feeling very, very uplifted. So you thought, yes, that's got to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds great for all skin types. I mean, for us, that's one of our best sellers of your body butter. And yeah, I think it's really nice after a bath or like just to kind of pamper yourself. And yeah, I think it's great with the tightening properties as well. That's a new learning for me. That's definitely something that we all need.
Yeah, and it's funny you've mentioned the bath, because we do bath salts in this as well, and the two together are one of our best-selling combos.
Oh, and then sorry, I forgot we're going to honey and
That's okay.
sorry.
The humble honey and oat. This was designed for souls like myself whose skin just does what it pleases when it wants. It doesn't kind of give you any knocks on the doors or kind of warning signs. It just kind of bubbles up and overreacts, and that's it, you're in big trouble. So the Skin Savior SOS balm contains honey, it contains oat, and these are two wonderful, wonderful ingredients that again have been used for, I think, centuries, just to kind of for their skin healing and skin soothing properties. And oat oil in particular is wonderful, because it really it actually contains certain properties which promote collagen in the skin, so it increases elasticity, and that comes from its hydration properties, hydrating properties rather. So it's again, it works in it works really well with the skin, in synergy with it. And then honey is very moisturizing, but it locks in the moisture. So it's wonderful. So those two combinations in together, wonderful for dry, cracked, chapped skin, and people who suffer from psoriasis and eczema will know that all too well.
Yeah, I feel this one, the texture to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a little bit stiffer than the more sort of whipped butters. And I think that's great if you have got the drier, more irritated skin types, because you're almost adding that barrier onto the skin on top to kind of protect it and stop that moisture getting out of the skin. But it's not so stiff that you're going to irritate your skin more as you're rubbing it in. But it just feels really soothing when you apply it. I mean, we've also used it in a, a skincare demo where we've used it as a cleanser. So if you've got really irritated skin, maybe psoriasis
Yeah.
or dryness around the eyes, it's really great for that too.
And actually, oat oil is gentle enough to use around the eye area. And again, because all of our ingredients are non-comedogenic, you don't have to worry about build up and blocking pores, because your skin will just drink it all up.
So how should we be applying the body
Oh,
butters? Have you got
fly
any
on
tips
that as
for us
well.
to get the most out of these lovely products?
Yeah. So we have, so we've kind of discussed the body butters. So what we do is kind of whip them up to give them this really nice aerated sort of consistency. A little goes such a long way, and it's like I mentioned, the amount of people I've kind of seen who just really kind of go in, dig out a whole mound, and they're like, okay, what do we do with this now? Um, Start off with very little, because it starts off solid, but with the heat of your body, it will melt down in your palms, and you will see that a little goes a long way. I mean, I these pots. And there's 5 of us in our family, and they last us absolutely ages. And all 5 of us use them all over the body. The great thing is, I use them for my face, for my body, for particular targeted areas. I tend to get dry patches on the back of my hands, so I will always apply as and when I need to, straight after washing hands, straight after you're in the kitchen, whatever. Just keep a pot nearby. You can use it on hands, face, and body. So that's the great thing. But a little definitely goes a long way. And as for the SOS balm, which you mentioned, that is more a balm. And that was deliberately meant that way, because it's obviously, for some people it would be great, they can use it all over the body like the body butter, but for more targeted use, you can just kind of rub your finger over it. It will turn into an oil as you do, and then that little bit you can just apply topically to different areas where you need it.
Great. I think the wonderful thing, particularly about the ones that have the essential oils in, they've got a really lovely fragrance. We've had people say that they don't wear perfume or anything when they're wearing your body butters. And as you mentioned, you've got the salts and also some soaps that match up. So you can layer that to kind of intensify the fragrance, can't you?
Yes, you can, definitely. And it's always worth doing that with any products you use, actually. But I think the sensory benefits of these products only increases. And you need that time. You've got to give yourself that time just to kind of switch off, shut down. And I think lockdown in many ways has kind of forced us to do that. and so now was the time, really. So have that bath, have that time afterwards to massage almost the body butter into your body, and really kind of feel the benefits. But yeah, the more you layer, the more that fragrance is going to last.
That's great. Thank you so much, Emma. I feel like we've taken a real deep dive into your amazing range of body butters that are really effective. And I hope you can find one for your skin type, because the range is really diverse. So yeah, thanks for watching, and feel free to check out the soap and skin range over at blondebeauty.com.
Thank you.
Bye.